morning, everyone. It's Monday and it's time for inspiration and motivation to start your day, start your week right. And who else to give us that than Grandmaster and Mr. Leroy Blease, local poets with amazing work. Let me just stay right there because this is their time to talk about the collaboration that's upcoming. And of course, let's hear some wisdom on today's couch. Good morning, gentlemen. Let me start. Mr. Leroy, how are you feeling today?
Oh, when I see good people like you all, I feel good.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
It's been quite a while since I haven't graced the camera or graced the TV. I've been doing this for decades.
Wow.
So it's like a DNA stamp inside of me. And whatever I put up here, no Y2K virus, mind-altering drug, nor bug could erase.
Right.
It's just something that is built inside each person.
Awesome, Mr. Leroy. Thank you so much.
See,
Before we continue, let me just get a check-in from Grandmaster himself. How are you feeling today, sir?
I am so blessed to be here alongside my foundation brother from Fort George, St. Mary's. And just a little correction, it's not Leroy Blease, it's Glenn Blease. This is Leroy Young.
Yeah. Okay, Leroy Young. Okay, let me just...
Rob.
Thank you for that correction. Thank you. My apologies. All right, so let's get started. How did this collaboration came about? How did you guys meet up and said, let's have this thing happening?
I knew Glenn, we knew each other from King Hatchet was a hammer, from young boys. And we used to go to the same primary school, St. Mary's School and ACC and all that. And each of us found that, deep within each, there's something, and we finally figure out what it was, and for me, it was poetry. And ever since I written my first poem, that's what I call it. I just write something, and I say, well, that's a poem. And ever since then, the momentum just built up until it came to a point where I have so much, I call it inspiration from people, look at what people do, listen to what they said, and a catchword will come out and I'll write a poem. For example, one of my most favorite well-known poem is this poem, Pressure. And I was home trying to figure something out, and this lady started hollering for me, and she was like, Grandmaster, I wonder if you could help me out with a couple of dollars. So I could buy, tell her, Miss, right now, I'm under pressure. And that's where my first poem came from, just the word pressure, and I actually forgot the lady was standing at my door, and I went upstairs and I started writing pressure. And ever since it started there, and it just keep going and going and going and going. To up to now, I think through Image Factory Art Foundation, I've published at least 5 to 6 books of poetry up to now, and everything is dandy. It's not dandy, but it's dandy enough. And I try to assist the kids in my neighborhood, show them the right path and all that, because I've been one foot on the grave and one, I've been there, done all of that, and I just call it a recycling of myself, spiritually, mentally, and stay focused.
Yeah, I have to share something. I've read your work, and it's the first time I'm seeing you in person. So I apologize for the confusion, because but it's absolutely beautiful to have you in person. I mean, wow, I'm kind of speechless. Man, please take over.
Oh goodness. So I wanna talk about the songs. Is it kind of like the same thing for you, where you just think of a word and you just write a poem and it's going to come to you and like that? Because what has been maybe one of your favorite poems or something that you think stands out and makes you different when it comes to poetry?
Well, another correction for the audience. I'm a St. John's graduate.
Okay.
At ACC. So Jules is one of my colleagues, Minister Marla. I come from...
Within a class
So
together?
my writing is different.
Okay.
Separate myself, but in the genre that we are considered dub poets. When you hear our poetry, you could put a beat, normally go with a beat on our live performances. But on my part, it's just like my brother Grandmaster. I could step in a room, and this have happened. I see a young lady, Francine, and it just goes because I look around. I have this photographic memory where the Lord had given me to bring a story condensed in about 3-4 minutes and you'll get it. So just for example, I step into this young lady's and it's so appropriate for a women month. And her name is Francine from Belmopan. And this sister, a black sister, Belizean, Garifuna, it's so amazing. I saw the qualities. So it came into my head. And I approached her, I said, I wrote something for you. And she said, really? I can't wait to hear it. So I said, sure. And it went like this. This one, that for you, Francine, charms deceitful beauties passing, but your fair woman shall be praised. Who can find this, your dedication, with first encounter with everlasting impression, your smile captivating, intelligence striking, Glenn Joseph Blease speaking, Francine, your honesty never sugarcoating, persona amazing, adjectives indescribable to any imagination, art connoisseur, this, your dedication, painting your personalities like one carving vocabularies, like your elegance, ravishing, your dedication, Francine, bland is your love like my daughter Rashana, shining, electrifying, imagine colors of Rasta, red, gold, and green, everlasting, listen to them words like a heartbeat, pounding, design created just for you, this dedication, one honor, exhilarating, erecting to a point of mental orgasm, laying down this pen, everything truthful, said here, in your dedication, uniqueness compared to none, closing as I compose thoughts of what's hidden, coming next one sequel from within, Yojo Harai window, pain, undoubting, with lyrical script, spiritually walking upon the winds of wind, an addition to all collections, your dedication, until then enjoy, appreciate, love this one, just for you, Francine, more lots of love and kisses, no francophone, I and I, to you, there's Francine, all ready for see you, clapping, blessed love.
I am clapping. That is, wow. I love reading. I love poems. So it's just, as you're saying that, I can imagine it. So thank you for sharing that,
Welcome.
please. Let's talk about the collaboration. What's going to happen here? What are you two working on?
Well, right now, for me and him, we're just working.
Okay.
It's just like a synergy or just the vibes. Just the vibes that, yo, he said, boy, we got a Channel 7, we're going there and tell her no problem, man, just say the word. And it's something that is ingrained in each of us, man. And I personally just can't help it. I could be talking with somebody and then boom, I'm talking like in poetry to them and they be like, what you just said? So it's just something that is inside of each and every one.
I'm so mesmerized by it because to think that you can come up with such an amazing piece, but not only that, you can remember it and deliver it so well because people don't understand the dynamics that go into creating poetry. They think it's always just, you just put some words on a paper. No. You have to be able to be well put together to have the right tenacity that comes with these words, that you have to captivate your audience, let them understand the story, like you mentioned, that gift of memorizing these things and making people connect to whatever you're saying so they can understand who Francine is. Like, they could be like, whoa, okay, Francine, I need to be a Francine too as well, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And so I commend you, gentlemen, on amazing work that you're doing. It's 2022. You've been doing this for umpteen amount of years. Where do you see yourself coming in this year and next year? Like, what do you think would be able to set you a step up more? You need to change up your gears. You're to do something a little bit different because you've been doing it for so long. So where do you want to put your part now? I guess I'll put this for you, Mr. Glenn. Where do you want to put your part? And then, of course, Grandmaster.
Well, what I am actually doing, refuting the Prime Minister's statement, Belizeans don't have talent. So I invited my brother from Fort George, he's a grassroots, to refute that statement also. And this is what we're doing. I told a young lady earlier, I would love to see the ministers, they sit down on the couch talking about the people's story like we are doing. And I told the Honorable Minister Marla, the people at BTB, thanks very much. You see, we have a crisis going on right now with the crime. And it's so honorable to sit with my brother for so many years. Me and Grandmaster never ever had a quarrel, much less a fight. He come from Fort George. I am representing Pickstock. This is a bridge to show that we could unite through one voice. We bring the story, their story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about story, Grandmaster, we want to ask you, like, because you've been on Channel 7 a couple times. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Your story, what has been like, being in Channel 7 before and being here on a new set, a new environment.
Yeah,
Tell us,
a whole
what's your current
different
feel?
environment. Because I remember the first time I came here, that was way back, and like till now, it's like, whoa, I'm actually in a real studio now.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm actually in a real studio, and I actually in front of the camera. I had it on a TV.
On a nice couch.
I just must have only enjoyed the coach.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, wham, reality.
Uh-huh.
All right? That's when I figure out more or less that, okay, I think I'm reaching the people out there now. So
Yes.
I start to get a little bit comfortable, but at the same time, I had to regress back into who I am. For every word that I speak, for every hello or hi and goodbye that I tell somebody. And it just built and built and built. It came to a point where sometimes I'm sleeping and I'm writing.
Yeah.
I'm actually sleeping and I feel my pen and but and when I do realize and I get, I say, oh, that could be a poem, and it just comes.
There you
it just
go.
comes.
There you
Just
go.
It's natural.
Yeah, we have been informed that your poems were also like aired every Friday on after the news.
Yeah.
How has that been like for you?
It was like, like what mama wap in your face. Like it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. Like when your granel, I take a frying pan and slap you in your ears with it. It's happening. It's happening. I can't believe this happened.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Yes.
Where happened? How it happened? Why it happened? To who that happened? So here what? I hope this happen more often again.
Me
Because
too.
if it don't happen,
Yes.
then nothing will happen again.
I love
So that what happened? After the
I know that's one of the poems right there.
Yeah.
That just came out of nowhere, right?
You know?
That's how it happened.
I saw Mr. Glenn's face like, yo,
That's how
yeah,
it
he's doing one of the
happened.
poems. So I can't get you guys off this couch without asking the big thing where you are masters at this. We have to say on our pros, experts, you've been doing this in your sleep.
Yeah.
You could just watch a woman and just make a poem out of nowhere and go and approach her and everything. But to the generation coming up, the young people that want to be able to do what you do or have their own part in this being a poet, what would you give advice, or how would you give advice to them, asking them, what do they need to do? What are the tools that they need to make sure they hone in on and practice right now? Because I know they're not at the point where they're writing at their sleep.
Oh.
But they want to be at a better point. But poetry, art is a way of expression, of feeling things and connecting with people and places. And so there's a lot of people that need art to survive and use it as a therapeutic way of carrying on in life. So what would be your thoughts or your recommendations to the artists that want to be able to hone in on their skills and be, on TV every night after news? Or what would be something that, be able to perform for other people? What tools do they need to get to that place?
Well, first of all, you have to have the song vocabulary. It's not like a nursery rhyme, Baba Baba Black Sheep. You have to see things and bring it where it could rhyme with something. You see, then you have to have the confidence to present it. You don't worry about when people laugh at you. You know that you're unique, you're just different. You have to have that confidence. But then again, build your vocabulary. It's very sad to say our literacy rate in Belize is very low. I've met people in my time who cannot read. A grown man asking me what is on his shirt. So imagine how would they send a message. So it's the empowerment of knowledge, reading, basic.
I like that. Grandmaster, how are you?
For this, with this young generation coming up, it's like for me, sometimes I just have to, find a different course around them. I'm saying this not to disrespect them, but I'm saying this that, man, these kids coming up right now ain't no joke. You know, we could try to have a conversation with them, and the next thing I hear you come out and old boy, right now, me not happy, I want to eat, I look for go pick up something and go do something, forget something. Then when they do figure it out that nothing for nothing, leave nothing. In life, nothing no free, you have to work for something.
Definitely.
When you got a problem, to find the solution, you have to try something. The other day, 2 boys get killed for their bike or something. What was the cause? Not tell me that nothing. You have to be something. And I'm so young, about 20-something. You and your neighbor no quarrel for nothing. You don't not chop, wap, joke, and want kill each other for nothing. You must do each other something. Now you have to do me something for make I want to shoot or kill you for nothing. I must be crazy or something. Because nothing from nothing leave nothing. And when I encounter someone, their vocabulary, their mind are like a pea. 30 seconds we have a conversation, and after that they go to another world. I don't know where that world is. But I tell their son, when you're ready to talk to me, when you come back down to earth, when you come back down to reality, me and you could talk. Besides that, if you can't say nothing, don't say nothing.
Wow. So we gotta stimulate that mind,
Yeah.
have the blindfold,
Yeah.
connect with people, which is really, really
Yeah.
important for it to happen.
Very
Definitely.
important.
I think it's super important, especially in this time, to have conversations and also pinpoint where you're faulty, where you need to read more, you
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
pick up something and do something like you
Yeah.
mentioned. I
Yeah.
think we can't be entitled, lazy. We can't think that something will just drop on with lap and it's gonna happen for us.
I got
You know
saying,
what?
I got saying where I like use, I make them know everything come to those who hustle while they wait, but they have to have faith and deal with everything straight.
I like that.
Plain and
That's
simple.
Well, I have
That's
one.
simple indeed.
The only thing that dropped from the sky right now, that's no manna.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
That's so
So,
You can sit around.
That's true. No,
I demand that what?
the devil's workshop.
Thank you.
yeah. So we're informed that you're gonna be doing some pieces for us today on our
so
set.
excited.
So we're gonna go on a quick break while we get y'all set up to do that for us and continue inspiring our viewers today on
No
this
problem,
Sunday.
no problem.
All right, let's do that. All right, we're having some technical difficulties. We're gonna get Grandmaster going. Yeah.
Culture. Culture. Lifestyle of our forefather. Culture. Moral belief and character given from one generation to another. Culture. For we culture, they get vulgar. Rice and beans, fried fish and plantain. That room I used to kick up dust in your kitchen. No all Creole want a tacos, burger, and fried chicken. Culture. Mayan got culture, Ketchy got culture, Cooley got culture, Turks got culture. Only Belizean Creole like we lose the culture. Instead, we going on like vulture and scavenger. Don't tell me about no 10th of September. That's for the colonial oppressor culture. Every week Creole gather with fuss. Every week Creole gather with the kick up dust. And when I try and make good for them, like you then start to cuss. Is it all about us? What is going wrong? That's an old song. Culture. For we culture, they get real vulgar. We have to dig deep inside each other and you'll be surprised. There's something so much in store for sure. What inspire my inspiration? The Almighty One.
Hearing the truth knocked front to your face, because being a Creole woman, I can tell, like, you know, there's a lot that we've lost throughout the way. And a lot of our young people, the things where we prefer to eat, prefer to do, as compared to being involved in your culture. And your culture, your heritage, you know. That's the important thing. People don't understand. Like, you're keeping your roots alive. It doesn't mean you can't accept changes in society and be able to get modernized. But when you're forgetting your roots, where you're born, where you grow, if you're born there, and all these things, then what do you really have to say as your essence is who you are as a person? When you go and talk to somebody about where you're from, what do you say? What do you really tell people, you know? So culture, it's something that I'm hoping that we can be able to hone in on. And like Grandmaster was saying,
don't be ashamed of it.
Don't be ashamed of it.
Don't be ashamed of your culture. Don't be ashamed of your upbringing. Be proud. I mean, that's what makes you who you are.
Very much so.
We are ready now for Mr. Glenn.
Remember when Belize used to be so peaceful, which was beautiful.
Just working out some mic. We're just working out some mic issues at this present moment, guys. We want to make sure you hear every single word to the point where it can like manifest in your mind, play out in your soul, and come out through your actions. And so, stay tuned with us. What do you think is going to come from this poem?
More than, I mean, inspiration. Definitely inspiration, honestly. It's really what we need to get going in the day, because we just get like, oh, it's Monday, let's get started. But sometimes you do not have time to sit down and reflect on really where we are, where we want to go next. So this is definitely a good way to start your day and start your week.
And then the truth in the poems, too, I think are very important for people to listen keenly on and see how they can apply it. I think, like you said, we get busy in the day. It's Monday, it's Tuesday, it's Wednesday. You just to try to get to a Friday because you want the weekend. And so in that whole rush, you're forgetting that you need to take a minute and stop and see how can you better yourself? How can you better your country? How can you be a community team builder? How can you love your brothers and sisters a little bit more? How can you preserve things?
Right, because what makes a poet is their eyes, and they observe. And it's observing more than with your two eyes. So let's get ready for Mr. Glenn.
Let's observe Mr. Glenn do his thing.
Chantal is ready? Yeah, good.
Blessed good morning. Sun up 7. Belize. The world. Big star. I remember when Belize used to be so peaceful, which was beautiful back then. I'm hoping you too, Channel 7, Belize, you too could help me remember them. When Tablada with no gun, just one baton, used to keep the law and order, like Papa Curly in his song when he remember. I too love those days. Then, when rice and bean, chicken and salad, ital was vital, not a ramen from China, do you remember? Those days, back then. When Belize, we used to drink vat water, no crystal, Zeta, Bella Vida, and all them others, do you remember? Those days, back then. When Belize, there were no ADUs, GSUs, SPUs, and all them other units with them 9, them AKs, and them bayonets, just you and I. T, why can't we be like those days then? When Son of Belize prison used to be behind Baptist, Pan, J Lane, 500 and under. Now they move it to Hattiville, 1400 and over. Even the magistrates, them call it Ramada. Do you remember those days back then? When Belize, Palace Majestic Eden, Bel Rio, cinemas, no cellulars and computers, do you remember those days back then? When Son of Belize, Belize Times reporter Mandala, no La Prensas nor El Diarios from Guatemala, do you remember those days back then? When Belize, the brother JB, Medepan RB, with Seferino Claudino, Coleman pa Saturday morning, who claimed to be from that land of Bengue, Bejo, Del Carmen, do you remember those days back then? When Son of Belize, we used to listen to Bamiki, Bandula, Jacob, Killer, Mela, Peter, Tosh, Muta like my grandmaster, legendary productions of Bob Marley, No Alkaline Vibes Cartel, Movara, and Massacre. Do you remember those days back then? When Belize, there was just a plain old Bolido, no Lato, Mega Bingo, Fantasy 5 to come make me rich, tricking way with casinos. Do you remember those days back then? When Belize positivity bring good productivity, I am praying, hoping, smoking one good saints, chanting and meditating that one day we could be just like our days back then. I suggest what we should do. Stop remembering the things that we shouldn't remember and start to remember them things that we should remember. Blessed is love. Son of Belize.
You know what's so funny?
What is?
I was so mesmerized by him, giving up butts back then. But a lot of the stuff there, I was like, I don't know about these things that much.
I don't know either.
I mean, I remember the whole Bolido Mega Binga kind of thing. I'm just, wow.
Yes. So we just gotta thank our guest here, Mr. Glenn and Grandmaster, that were here on the show. It was truly inspiring. I'm a reader and I love to do everything that has to do with words. So my mind is so stimulated right now. I'm so motivated. And of course, it's time to remember where you come from.
Yes.
That's very important.
Heritage, Kev. Go back in that times, back then when things were totally different. But seeing how we can push aside what we need to change for today and go back to back then. I think people don't even know about back then because they don't have nobody to tell them about back then. So this is the time to go and talk to your granny, your grandpa, or talk to an elderly person. Ask them the questions, have that conversation. I think it's boring because you could learn about what happened back then. Have that conversation and change how you think and see things today. Understand that history, those struggles, those sacrifices, the strengths, the victories that make us who we are today, that heritage that we have, hone in on it and make sure you run with it.
Definitely. That's a really good way to wrap that segment. So we're in the wrapping end of today's show. I want to thank all our guests that were here today. Ms. Amy Jex and Kimani Quiroz, and of course, Sadie Vernon High School for producing amazing quality work with that mental health competition speech. And of course, highlighting child abuse that happens in most places at home. Let's give them a round of applause.
Yep, definitely.
Also, let's highlight the Matthew Vernon Women's Outreach Program and their upcoming
Matthew Rotter.
Matthew Rotter.
You said Vernon. You mix up.
Matthew, thank you for that correction. Matthew Rotter and their Auntie's Place. And of course, if there's any way how you can contribute to their cause, please go ahead and give them a shout out on their email at mrwo@gmail.com, and you can give them their support. And of course, Grandmaster and Mr. Glenn for being here with us. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to end on that same note that, guys, a lot is happening in our world, and I think it's a great time to reflect on seeing, what has been our past mistakes, what have been the past victories, the things that we used to once love and embrace, and why we've taken a time to just let go of these things and try to see how we can bring it back. I think that's the reflection that I see from Mr. Glenn and Grandmaster when they talked about their poetry, about how we are. Things are changing, but it's not that we don't change with them, it's just that we also need to keep and hold on to the things that are not meant to change within us as well.
Definitely.
And keep our history and roots very close, because back then to now, we can hone in on things. We can be able to still live a life that is pleasing, that is worthwhile, that is memorable, even remembering today to back then.
Right. I also want to remind you again that it's World Down Syndrome Day. So go ahead and put your funky socks on. Show solidarity to persons that are with Down syndrome. When I had shared with you about the World Happiness Day and what happened with the ranking. So Finland came first, Denmark was second, Iceland was third, Switzerland was fourth, and the Netherlands was fifth. And basically, this was done on a ranking of addressing crime, what's the cost of living, the interaction with nature, and right. So, and of course, who was like on the downhill or the bottom of the list was Afghanistan, Lebanon, Zimbabwe, Rwanda, and Botswana, and all of them have a pattern that all of them have history with exploitation of colonialism, and the ones that are on the top are the ones that benefited from colonialism. That's an interesting fact that I really wanted to highlight. There's an announcement that we want to make from Charisse. Do you want to share it? So we have some teasers about what happened in the weekend. So let's cue that in as we wrap up. Right, so this is the farm that Prince William was supposed to visit. Of course, as how Jules mentioned, we're going to be covering everything that happened this weekend with the visit of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge on 7 News tonight. So stay tuned for that conversation. Ren, it's time to wrap up the show.
We're wrapping up, guys. You know, as I always say, drink your water and mind your own business as you go out today. Make sure when you are minding business, you're being a neighbor and a loving person to those out there that do need your support. We need to make the world a better place. Let's stop looking at politicians and organizations and always to think somebody else that their responsibility. To take it on ourselves, to do it in our little tribe, with our people that we work with the people that we love, the people that we meet on the street, all of that. Small acts of kindness make a big impact in the overall community and world. So remember that when you go out there and be salty, let's talk about a little bit about more sugar. Okay, let's be a little bit sweet.
Yeah, and in light of World Happiness Day, there was a quote that came out in that what makes a happy day are moments of joy. So go out there and make your moments of joy. If you want to reflect on a happy place, go ahead and you do that. If you want to connect with somebody and just make the best out of it, do that. Do whatever brings you joy. If it's a food, if it's a hug, if it's anything, go out there and just do that for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Monday to Sun Up on 7. We absolutely love you, and thank you for your time and for viewing and interacting with Renata and I. Ren, good job. We did it.
We did it, guys. Another Monday down. The 21st of March. Go out and have an amazing...
socks too.
Your funky socks, and go have an amazing, prosperous, purposeful Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow when I'm with Brandon as we give you a tremendous, terrific Tuesday. So stay tuned for all of that. Have an amazing day, guys. Go and be safe. And as Brandon says, go be great.